came here tonight, none of you knew who the hell I was. So that in itself, it says a lot more that you came. And of course, you know, many of our current clients and people that have been to our events before, the fact that you're coming back time and time again is also a huge compliment. So what I like to do, and we, as you can see, we're kind of, I'm getting Facebook Lives all over the place.
2018, man.
I think the technical definition of this evening is we're winging it. And the reason we're winging it is because we weren't expecting so many of our Access All Areas members or ticket holders to come to this evening. So when Charlie started doing and Charlotte started doing the confirmations and saying, great, you know, have you got any dietary requirements? Are you coming to the evening before? And like everyone started saying yes, we were like, okay. So now we're going to have to switch things up a little bit, and of course, you know, we've had to adapt. And those of you that do events, raise your hand if you do events or have done events before. You know that like the most valuable skill you can possibly have is the ability to wing it, because whatever, generally speaking, whatever can go wrong does. So you've got to make the best of it. So I appreciate you being flexible and bearing with us and adapting with this new setting of this very weird feeling of maybe in the middle. I'm going a bit dizzy actually, keep spinning around. I'm going to do like 30 seconds here and then 30 seconds here, so apologies, but I'm going to go dizzy. So really the purpose of this evening is for us to say hi, get to know you better, and what I'd love to do is find out what is it, because we've got a philosophy within our company which is that it is hard to run a successful business. And so the thing that's going to determine the degree of success you have probably is going to be how strong your reason is for wanting to make your business a success. And of course, the stronger the reason, then the harder you're going to work, the earlier you'll get from the morning, the later you'll stay up at night. When it gets tough and you're getting haters and criticism online and all that stuff, that's when the strength of the reason for you being successful will kick in. When it's not comfortable and it's not feeling easy. So I guess my first question for you this evening is, what is your strongest reason for being here at Expert Empires? I'm not expecting everybody to share, but I'd love to know because it's useful for me. Whilst of course we've designed Expert Empires minute by minute, and we're not going to wing it at all for the next 2 days, it's still good for me to get input and kind of a sense from you guys to go, what is your strongest reason for being here? What's the number one thing you want to get, so that I, as the host of the next 2 days, can ensure that you get your outcomes met? So who'd like to kick us off? And I haven't got eyes in the back of my head, so if you want it to be you, just make a noise. So,
Lewis.
Lewis, what is your strongest reason for being here at Expert Empires?
We're in 2018 now, and the world is full of YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, of how-tos and what we can do to grow our business. Personally, I think that you only get that value. Good timing, eh?
Great time.
We're in London, I guess. We only get that value.
You don't get that in the Midlands, do you, Lewis? You know what I mean?
We only get that value when we're around people like yourself and people like the people in the room. We can network with people and build that posture up of what it really takes, put it into practice, rather than just finding out online from, you know, people giving a lot of value out there. But when you can actually see it in person, that's what makes me tick.
Right. So, in summary, the strongest reason for you being here is?
The people.
The people, the connections you're going to make.
Not the connections going to make, the connections, what the connections can teach me to then go forth and introduce that to my business as well.
Yeah, great. I mean, I really believe that whilst I think we have assembled a world-class lineup of speakers, I genuinely believe, I probably say this every time, but I genuinely believe that the speaker lineup we've got at this event is better than any event we've ever run before. And so there's a lot of value from the front of the room. I believe there's probably even more value in the lessons you can learn from one another that you're going to, when you're having conversations this evening, at a party tomorrow evening, in the breaks, that's where an immense amount of value is. Because let's face it, you can get information online for free. You go on YouTube, you go, right, I want to learn how do I make Facebook ads work, or I want to learn how do I use LinkedIn, or whatever it is. You can learn that information and it's free.
Absolutely.
The
so I was
difference
speaking
is...
to my pal Andy here, and he's like, well...
That's all right.
He said that he has like issues with going out there and networking. Well, straight away, you're in a room here full of people that are networking. You could go and learn that from YouTube, but you couldn't actually put that into practice. You can go and do that from online courses, but you can't put that into practice.
Yeah, I think for me, I attend a lot of events myself. By the way, like, I think it's pretty damn important that if you're selling something, that you're actually investing in it yourself. So, like, you know, I invest lots of time and money attending events because that's how I learn best. And I really believe that being there in the room, meeting people, asking questions, getting that face-to-face, hands-on experience, whilst, of course, you know, I think there's a lot of value to be learned from learning online and from books. I think I genuinely believe you can't beat live events for that. So, thanks, Lewis, for going first.
Thank you.
By the way, he tapped himself.
Oh, yeah,
great. What else? What's your strongest reason for being here at Expert Advice? Adam?
Basically to be able to provide more for my family. I want to spend more time with my family, less time working in my business, developing aspects of my business. I have a successful digital marketing agency, and a new aspect to that is actually running Facebook ads workshops that we spoke about and getting people to those workshops and running events exactly like this, where instead of having to struggle to get 20 people to a sit-down event, I want to be able to get 500, 1,000 people without worrying about it, so I can just spend more time with my wife and my kids, which is basically the reason that I do everything that I do.
Let me warn you, when you start putting 500,000 people at an event, you're not going to spend more time with your wife and kids.
I'll get used to it, so I spend more time with my wife.
My wife will tell you that ain't the case. I'm kidding.
But that's what I want to develop that other arm of my business, so that I can have a recurring income stream that's not a Udemy online £10 a pop online marketing course that 1 million people are doing. I want to add real value to real business owners, but also to develop that so I can spend valuable time with my wife and kids.
Love it. Thanks, Alan. Give him a round of applause.
Ranjit. Hi, Nick. First of all, congratulations, Villa, at Wembley.
Yeah, of course, 100% of my energy and attention has been with you this evening. However, for a very split second, I had to check my phone because Villa, my team, were in the semi-finals of the playoffs this evening against, where are they? Middlesbrough. These gentlemen in the back. And about 10 minutes ago, Villa got through to the final of the playoffs. We are 90 minutes away from the big time. Come on.
Brilliant. So Wembley next week.
I will be there. I will be there.
I won't be there, and you know why.
Ranjit's a Derby fan. They went out last night.
Anyway, the point is, 6 months ago, coming to your event brought two of us together in this room to create something magical. So our reason, or Darren, my business partner, is to bring what we've created over the last 6 months to here, to thank you, and to take it to the next level. So I don't know if you know, we did the property up, the property show, Darren and I do. So we're geared up here now to kind of take it to the next level.
And you had a little interview a month or so ago, didn't you?
Yeah,
with somebody who they might know.
Some guy across the Atlantic, was it?
Yeah. So they interviewed Grant Cardone for their show just a couple of months ago. So, well, congratulations, guys, on the success you've had in the last 6 months. It's exciting to think where, you know, we could be stood here in 6 months' time. Imagine where you're going to be then. So, as Matt says, it's his favourite phrase in the world. It really is a phenomenal time to be alive. Good. What else? What are your strongest reasons for being here at Expert Empire? Yes.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's
Mine's Ricky, right?
Yes.
I just wanted to check.
Yeah,
You didn't issue yourself. What is that?
yeah, no. Well, I think the thing for me was meeting like-minded people who want to succeed and grow their businesses. Because business in general can be quite a lonely place if you're at the top of the stuff. And I quite like challenging other businesses to succeed. So actually, for me, everyone who's in this room now, if you want to come to me afterwards, I'll challenge you to get to wherever you want to be. And I think for me, it's like I spoke to you earlier, where you want to be and what you want to do. But all these companies that are here, like you've got loads of people later, isn't it, who are not doing the accessible area stuff. But everyone who's here is pretty serious about growing their business. So what does success look like? And I'd like to speak to people around what that success is and how you get there, and then challenge you to make that happen. Because I'll race you to it. I'll race you to it. Yeah, but that's pretty much challenge. I think the thing is for me is networking, and when people try and sell stuff, that's just not there. But when you actually have businesses that want to grow and want to succeed, you want people to do that. So I think that's where something like this is quite good to create this like universal language for them. So that's why I'm doing it.
Right, that's ridiculous. I've got a question before I come to you, if that's all right. So I'd like to just get a feel for where the businesses in the room are. And there's a reason I'm doing this, because I think like you're in the right room if you're not the smartest person in the room. Like that means you're in the right room. Like if you're standing here in the room, we're all sitting even in this room, and you're going like, my business is far more advanced than anybody else's, then I'm not saying that there won't be value here for you, but you're probably better off finding a room where there's other people around who are going to stretch you and push you. So just out of curiosity, raise your hand if you're at a point in your business where, and I'm just going to do it by annual sales because it's easy for you to know where you are. Raise your hand if you're already doing at least 6 figures, but more than 100,000 a year in annual sales. Raise your hand if you're at that. Keep your hands in the air. I mean, by the way, first of all, Matt Elwell, because you do this a lot with me, like, excuse my language, isn't that fucking amazing? Like, I've never stood in a room and asked that question and had basically 100% of people in the room do that. So, I mean, fair play to you all. Even though I know I'm here with the elite people from our event, that's still incredible. Raise your hand if you're doing at least 7 figures in annual sales, at least $1 million a year or more in sales. Wow. I mean, that should tell you, looking around. By the way, those who that raise your hand first time, not second time, you're definitely in the right room. Like, you can look at the guys that just, or guys and girls that just raise their hands, and like, you should be looking at them and going, right, these are the people that I need to go and speak to. These are the people I need to connect with. You want to suck every last bit of energy and advice that you can from these guys. They've already achieved they're already where you want to be. Raise your hand if you're already doing 8 figures in annual sales, more than 10 million. Right. So this is the guy that right? Congratulations. This is the guy who many of you who are already doing 7 figures, more than 7 figures, want to spend time around. And the challenge for you, Jonathan. Yes. The challenge for you, Jonathan, is now to find people that are already next level, and that's what I know. We already had a chat. The reason you're here is because you look at someone like Grant Cardone and you go, well, you know, he's already where I want to be.
I feel Paul next to him.
You feel Paul next to him, right?
But you know what it is, Nick, as well? There's something else which is amazing. I think you can get very cocky.
Yes.
But you've got to stay humble.
Yes.
And the most important thing is, I drive a Mini every single day of my life because my wife says keep me humble.
Look.
And the fact of the matter is, I'm here to learn, like everyone in this room, new technology, new sciences, because, you know, my friends are sitting on the beach in the south of France. I'm here. That says a story. Their businesses are going down in the next 10 years. We're going up.
Yeah.
And I want, like everyone in this room, I want to 10x my business.
Right, congratulations. Give him a round of applause. Emerson, strongest reason for being here at Expert Empires?
So my strongest reason is I'm now building my business, Bright Business Advice, and I'm creating a legacy of, I want to create 1,000 millionaires from 100 coaches over the next 10 years. So I've just taken on my first coach, franchisee number 1, and Ricky's one of my clients, so he gives me a hard time, so I give him a hard time. And it's all about, you know, being around the right environment with the right people, thinking in the right way. Just being in your mastermind for the last few months has given me some thinking how perhaps for 10 years I was working for a global coaching firm and had one way, just it was kind of put into my head, and I thought that's the way. And I didn't change my model, and then you shook it up you and Matt shook it up over the last 2 or 3 months, and it's made a huge difference.
Matt shook it up a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm still suffering from the wounds of that, but actually I'm pleased to say I just picked up another 8 clients this month already, just off the back of the events in one-to-one coaching, which is, you know, pretty good for me. I'm happy with that. So that's how we're going to do it.
Round of applause for Emerson. Alright, different question. What can I help you with this evening? What's the burning question which, if you could get it answered this evening, would make the biggest difference to your business before the event even blooming starts? What's the biggest question or the biggest challenge, problem in your business that we could help you with this evening? Sam?
It's not necessarily about business, but what's the best way to those people that have never been to one of your events?
Great question. Well, I've never attended one of my events either. So you might be better off asking someone that has attended my events and that has managed to get a lot of juice out of it. There's numerous people in this room. I'm gonna pick on Gordon since he's probably the person that's attended. I'm not saying most of our events, but has attended a lot of them. So Gordon, what advice would you give to Sam and other people that are here for the first time who haven't been to Expert Empires before or one of our events? How do you get the most value out of it, do you think?
I think, you get obviously the speakers on stage, take lots of notes, take everything down, but really for me it's getting around everybody, feeling the energy in the room, listening to people, talking to them and actually asking great questions and actually listening rather than talking, because you'll pick up so many things when you do that. Just go at every single person you come across, ask them about them, and that's what you'll learn the most amount. Like building relationships is about asking great questions. So I would say that networking is what these events are about, really. I mean, the content's great, but it's the energy, it's staying around, the party's going to be amazing, and just connecting with people. And I would say to get the best out of it is stay connected afterwards, and I think that's really, really important. And another thing I would say is be really open, completely open, because you allow more in. The more open you are, the more you let in, and that's really, really important. And that's what I love about events. I think it's the I come personally because I love connecting with people. Every single person, I'm going to climb into all the I love it. It's great, isn't it? It's great though to connect in this kind of environment because a year ago I came here. A smaller man than I am today, and this guy's helped me massively. Matt's helped me seriously from business. Have been amazing for me. It's been a mad 12 months or so. And if you can just tap into that, also have a lot of faith as well. Sometimes you've got to gamble a little bit. Sometimes you've got to have a bit of faith in yourself, faith in some of the things that you'll hear, and just go and do it. If you do that, you'll be amazed what happens. So that's all.
Well said. One thing I'm going to add, Todd and I were having a really great conversation earlier, and Todd's been to, now this is your third event of ours, came to Expert Empires last year around Business Empires. What was the thing that you said, because I really agree, this is my philosophy when I attend events. What's your philosophy, Todd, around how do you get the most out of it?
I come to events like this with a focus on what I want from it, but also very open, like you were saying. But I come away with one thing I'm going to implement, because I think a lot of people come to stuff like this and it's all, yeah, amazing, and then they do nothing with it. So the last 3 events I've come to, I've taken one thing away from it. One of the things was your £10 jobs, which I think is a great ethos to have, which I've implemented, which has worked. And for the next 2 days, I can't tell you what that one thing is. I'm going into it with an open mind, but I will take one thing and I will implement it. That for me, because you can take a whole book of notes away, and it's fuck all. Yeah. You don't do anything with it, and you can't do everything in that book. You can have 10 things, and you couldn't do that. I think it's a one thing.
Now I know that nobody in this room has ever been guilty of attending an event and not implementing everything you learn, but it's a common problem out there. And I have to say, you can do, I genuinely believe this, you can do anything, but you can't do everything. You can do anything, but you can't do everything. And so, having the intention before you even start, that's exactly my philosophy. When you said it, I was like, that's exactly how I think when I go to an event. What's the one, I don't know what it is before I get there, but I'm going to take away one thing. Because then the likelihood of you implementing and executing on that one thing is far, far greater. So that's a really good mindset to come in with as well. What else? What other questions have you got? Or what's the biggest challenge I could help you with today?
What's your £10 job thing?
You will find out. You will find that out. It's actually part of the content that I'm going to do.
That's on your content
tomorrow morning. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
amazing.
Yeah. So hold that thought, John. Love it. Kevin.
I was just going to add there and kind of echo what you said about when you come to these events, and very much in line with what you said there. Many people get overwhelmed when they come to these events because there's so much good information. I've been to a few. This is my second one of yours now. The last one was fantastic. But it's not the case of switching off to certain things, but it's the case of actually picking up the things which are most relevant to you. And if you just think of like leveling up, the reality is with most of the information you get, you'll be able to hear that again from other experts or the same experts if you watch those again. But sometimes it might just not mean much to you. So it's about what means a lot to you at that point. Acting on that and being open to actually, you can come back when you've leveled up to there, you'll get new insights from maybe the same content and at future events from the same experts or similar experts ready to level up again. But like you were saying, if you try and take action or think you may take action on all of this content, you're going to end up in a position of overwhelm, which is going to actually leave you feeling a little bit inadequate because you're not doing as much as you thought you would do. And just the one thing or the couple of things that you can do right now and start taking action on right now in order to level up, and just be ready to level up again the next time when you go to anything similar. That's really important.
Yeah, thanks. And we give you a round of applause. And we've actually got, those that have been to our events before will know, we've got an exercise that we always finish my events with, designed to do exactly that. Designed to bring together 2 days of learning, lots of content, lots of strategies and tactics, and bringing it all together so that you can leave with, right, I now know exactly what I'm going to do, which in our experience radically enhances the likelihood of you implementing and therefore getting the result you're looking for. Darren, I think you had.
Yeah, I was just going to say that one of the things I found really, really helpful was, and you've seen this privately, I walked away and I made a video to myself about where I was, where I wanted to be, and it goes back to this one thing, because it was a case of I knew where I was, what I was unhappy with, what I wanted to change, but I had a video document that I had to keep looking at to keep pushing me, and when I was losing direction or not sure where I was going, I just kept watching that back and reminding
myself. By the way, we would call that video, so just so everyone understands, you did a video to yourself.
I literally stopped my car on the way home, pulled out the phone, just started recording.
Yeah. And that was what we would call a strongest reason why. He was capturing his strongest reason why, so that then when it got tough or he was having doubts, he had something to come back to and remind him when he was in a good state, when he just left our event, so that he could go back and remind himself again, what is the strongest reason for me doing this?
And it literally took me, what pushed me all the way.
I'm going to bring Tommy G in at this point, because you guys don't have you guys met?
We met.
Spoken? Yeah, but Tommy did that exact thing last year at Expert Enterprise. Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, you're the only person that knows in the whole world.
Oh,
and
sorry. In confidence.
It's about to change.
But you don't have to share.
Yeah. I was at the event last year, and I made a bold move to start working with you, and I took a picture of myself. They were unpacking behind, so putting the chairs away, and I took a picture of myself with the stage in the background, and I just put a little caption, which I'm not going to say what it was, I put a little caption underneath, and I didn't tell anyone about it, and I just had it, I knew it was sat there, I knew it was in my camera roll, and it would just be sat there, and it was deep inside of my mind, and etched in there, and then all the little choices and decisions that happened over the next 12 months evolved that little idea, and having it in the phone, didn't look at it at all until last week, and yeah, it's happened. It's all come true. I know it seems a bit like that, but it has in a kind of roundabout way. So yeah.
You make it come true.
Yeah,
you've got to. You've made a statement to yourself that you've got to follow through on. Yeah. So you'll make it come true. And I was sat with Nick showing him the videos, and that's what I told you I was going to get. And that's what I'm here now.
I mean, one of the things that we do a lot of, we talk a lot and ask questions of people working with, people that attend our events. One of the things we're always thinking about is what commonalities, what are the things that keep coming up time and time again, every time we have a conversation. And the common themes are, number one, accountability. That word seems to come up a lot. People are really looking for accountability. And again, in your cases, that was accountability to yourself. And of course, one of the things that I think many business owners lack, because they're not in a supportive environment where there's lots of other people that are playing a bigger game than they are, what they lack is other people around them that are going to hold them accountable, which is one of the strengths of coming to events like this and being part of groups and things like that. I think accountability is huge, is one big one. What was the other one we were talking about earlier, Matt?
I think it's being around people.
Yeah.
A lot of people can be quite lonely.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm curious, and like, don't humour me, like, be like genuinely only if this is true for you. Raise your hand if you feel that in your peer group you are at the top of the tree and that you haven't got anyone stretching you. Yeah, good. So, probably about a third of you, and that tells me that, first of all, you are totally in the right place. Because in this room and in the room at Expert Empires, between the speakers and the other attendees we've got in the room, there are going to be people, and that's like what Darren and Ranji were talking about. It's like you guys didn't know each other before Business Empires, and now you become business partners because you found somebody that can hold you accountable and you can work with. Now, I'm not saying you need to become business partners with people at our event, but there's a great opportunity for you to meet and connect with other people and make friendships so that you can hold each other to account. There's lots of people that I know. I mean, Paul, you and I know each other very well. You know, you've been to my events in the past, and you know, we're now become friends. And there's definitely some healthy competition between us in our businesses. And you know, I think that's a massive positive, because when I'm around people like Paul and my other peers, some of whom are playing a bigger game than I am, I'm now going, I've got to step up. I've got to, you know, that accountability from being around the right peer group is hugely powerful. So I think there's an opportunity for you while you're here these next couple of days to find people who can become your peer group that you can be around, that are going to hold you to account and that are going to help you grow to the next level, because you'll push yourself. Because listen, no one wants to be the, I use this term carefully, the dumbest person in the room, right? No one wants to be the dumbest person in the room. But if you are to start with, it's going to push you to get out of that and upscale and level up, as Kevin wonderfully said. How are we doing for time, by the way? Have we got a deadline?
What's your name?
I have one. Okay, so since Bernie said we've got loads of time, we can be here all night. Thanks, Bernie. Sam, what you got? What question can I help you with?
Okay, so some of you may know that I went to GrowthCon in Vegas in February.
Oh, just out of curiosity, I know a few of you have. Who went to GrowthCon in Vegas? I'm really curious, because I don't actually know how many. Okay, handful. Good.
Irish people. When I came back, I literally, almost did nothing for 2 months, because I had the massivest high I've ever had, and the people were amazing, and everything was amazing, and I came back and thought that everything that I was doing was just basically shit compared to all these people I met. Like, honestly. How can I not let that happen this time? Because I'm already on my high. How can I stop that from happening this time?
So, it's a great question. I'm only going to give you my personal opinion, which might differ from other people in the room, it might differ from some of the other speakers. I genuinely believe, we were having this conversation, weren't we, just here, Todd and Karen and Claire, that, and this is a Tony Robbins-ism, people dramatically overestimate what they can achieve in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in 10. And what I think that means is, like, you can go to events and get hyped up and then think, if I don't 10x my business in the next 12 months, then I failed. And in actual fact, 10x in your business in a year is, like, in some cases dangerous. Like, because you're going to overtrade, you're going to grow too fast, and then, you know, that kind of rapid growth is sometimes, I believe, it's only my opinion, a bit dangerous. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't look to 10x your business. For me, if someone's doing, you know, there's most people in this room said they're already doing 6 figures. Let's say you're currently doing, as an average, like, let's say you're doing $250,000 a year in annual sales. Just take a random number. It's probably a decent average from the people in the room. And let's say that you all went, right, I want to go to 2.5 million this year. I'm telling you, at least half would fall flat on their arse. As in, either they'd achieve 2.5 million but wouldn't have the infrastructure to support it, so then they wouldn't deliver on promises, reputation in tatters, business down the drain, or they don't achieve the 2.5 million and 10x the business and they feel like a failure. So if you feel like a failure, even if you've had success, really, you failed. So for me, it's about plotting, and what we have in our business is we have a 5-year plan about where we are now, and we go, right, we're projecting and gunning for this percentage growth this year, and this percentage growth the year after, and after, so that over 5 years, I mean, we can have pretty stunning growth in the next 5 years. I think it's about knowing where you are, and playing a big game and pushing, because I guess there's 2 problems. There's, on one hand, people being unrealistic and going too big and having massive aspirations that they're never going to achieve, then they feel like a failure when they don't. But on the flip side, then there's a bunch of people, and this is most people out there in the normal world, who are thinking too small. And they're playing a small game, they're not pushing themselves. So it's finding that balance, I think. So, like, you know, for you, Sam, I think it's finding the balance to go, when you come back from GrowthCon or when you come back from our event here, to go, right, okay, here's where I am, let's look at where we are in reality, and what would really great success look like in the next 12 months from me that excites me enough that it gets me out of bed early, makes me stay up late at night, but I also, it's not so big that it's overwhelming and unachievable, and it's finding that medium. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And that's only my opinion. I can't speak for everybody here. I'm sure there's people that disagree with that, but that's just always been my philosophy. I was sharing with the guys, with Claire and Karen and Todd earlier, like when I first started my business, we're talking, well, I've had a couple of false starts like most do, but like when I first started out in business at 21, I was like, right, you know, I'm going to make 100 grand in my first year. And I mean, that was so naive. Like, I had no sales or marketing skills. I had no business experience whatsoever. It was so naive to think I was going to get to 100 grand in my first year. And so I failed dismally. But if you'd have asked me at that point, what can I achieve in 10 years, I probably would have said 2, 3, 400,000. I would never have been thinking 7 figures in 5 years. Like, it just would have been too big for me. So I think, again, you know, my philosophy is that, and I got this from Tony Robbins, I think people dramatically overestimate what they can achieve in a short period of time, like a year, but they underestimate what they're capable of in 10 years. And so, I don't know, that to me feels like probably the thinking that might need to be applied for you.
Nick, can I?
You may.
Exactly what this young lady said. For 25 years now, I've been coming to events like this for 25 years. And the only reason why I've come back here is...
By the way, not my events for 25. I'd have been starting at 10 if that had been true.
No, I want to get my age. So, I met like in February. Yep. And I come back to this one here because just exactly what you've just said, Nick, right? You know, I am a successful entrepreneur, yeah, and I am sick to the teeth of meeting false people. I'm sick to the teeth of being sold to. I'm sick to the teeth of paying money after money after money and learning nothing. Yeah. What I took from you in February, I've implemented. Now, I've tweaked it my way, of course. Yes. I'm Irish, that's what you do.
You couldn't possibly follow the advice of a brummie.
Absolutely. This chap over here that says he goes away and he takes one thing from it and he implements it, yeah? But let me tell you, sweetheart, you know, you're young, I'm like a wee bit older than you. And I used to feel like you, and I came back and I was so overwhelmed that I just didn't know what, there was so much, yeah? But that's exactly the secret to success over there. But you need to know, and Nick, you've just said this, when you know what keeps you up, when you know why you don't go to bed, when you don't eat, when you're so excited, yeah? When she knows that, you'll take that away from his trainings, yeah? But everything that he took, I have not, for 25 years, and that one will tell you, I have stopped my excitement on the day I came to your event in February. That's why I'm back here, yeah? Because you lit the fire again in my heart, because there was real people back in this world. Everybody sitting in this room are from different backgrounds, all different entrepreneurs, and this chap, he put his hand up that should have been on the beach and is here today. Well done you. But you're not saying to each one of us, don't be friends with her, don't be friends with that one. You're telling us all to mingle and network, and that's not out there, Nick. It's not out there, and I'm sure you all feel the same way. You know, you are, I'm so proud of you, I really am. I've watched for 25 years, and I am so proud of you, Nick, what you've put together, and what you're just going to achieve. We're all going to be there watching you grow. And the only thing I'll say to you is, please just stay the way you are. Don't change.
Don't really know what to say now. apart from you think don't change, but maybe make the jeans a little bit looser.
No!
You
At my age, that's okay.
You like I'll take that. That was. Thank you. I mean, I don't really know what to say. That's such a lovely thing. So I really appreciate you saying that. For Sam, we started off with that, and then we went in a whole different direction, which is what I love about you, Bernie. For Sam, what do you think? Somebody who's very experienced in business, you can resonate with where she is now. What does she need to do now over the next 2 days?
She needs to find out. You really do, Sam. You need to have a check-up from the neck up, and you need to have a reappointment with yourself, and ask yourself, what is it? What do I want from my life? Where am I going? What do I want? And you see, when you get that answer, you will hear every message that's on that stage. But if you don't know where you're going, you'll not hear any messages. You'll hear doom, 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 and you'll come home the way you came home. But when you know where you're going, you'll hear every single message. Does that make sense, Sam?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so just have we talk to yourself.
Get the excitement you had after GrowthCon. Have that level of excitement about one thing and one thing only. That would be my advice. Good. Should we do one more? We'll finish at 10:30. Yes. We haven't had a chance to speak yet.
I'm a guest of Joe, but I feel like I'm getting crashed a little bit, Joe. I just flew in today.
What's your name?
Peter McMahon.
Peter, great. So what's the big question that we could help you with? Or
I'm hoping you can.
Okay.
I turned over nearly $1.5 million in the second half of last year.
Wow,
The
congratulations.
first couple of months of this year, back up between 200,000 and 300,000. When we were doing so well, I invested, took an extra couple of sales engineers on, which I needed to. We were really good technically. We're shit at sales. So my problem is...
It's an epidemic, isn't it? It's a pandemic.
I believe I'm an expert at what I do.
Yes.
I'm good at what I do.
Yes.
But nobody knows about it.
Yes.
So that's why I'm here. I believe you're experts. So how the hell do we get the word out there?
Well, I mean, it's a much longer conversation than we can probably have here this evening. I guess my question is, what's changed? Because you were getting it out there, because you did over, 1.5 million in the last 6 months of last year. So what's changed in that time?
What's your business?
Air conditioning. Large scale air conditioning.
So is it seasonal? So the second half of the business?
No, it's to do with the building trade. A lot.
What's changed?
I can't answer that. It's the honest answer. I've lost jobs that I felt I should have won. Some of them I've just been undercut. People have gone in, either maybe because of our successes, other people have knocked the arse out and they're competing with us. Like what we did a few years ago. I don't know.
I mean, one thing I know is that, and of course, Matt is our head of sales. He's also the possibility, well, he's my possibility coach. If you want to know what a possibility coach is, go and speak to Matt about it. What we know is that, and by the way, this isn't directed at you in particular, more generally, most people, most businesses are struggling because they cannot sell.
They cannot sell.
Yeah. Most businesses kid themselves and go, I need more leads, or I need to master how to use Facebook ads or LinkedIn or Google or whatever, so I can get more leads in. But the fact is, if they were converting more of the leads they already had, they wouldn't need any more leads. And if they were converting more of the leads they already had, they could afford to spend more money on marketing on Facebook and YouTube and Google, so then the business would grow. So I think, for me, the thing that holds most businesses back is that they don't see, they're blind to the fact that conversion is the problem. Being able to convert and make sales and get people over the line is, sorry to simplify, it's the secret. Once you've got that, all the other stuff, then you've got money in the bank, so you can afford to pay for the staff and the infrastructure, and then of course, because you've got money in the bank, you can invest more in marketing. Conversion is, in most cases, not all, but most, the problem.
So are you recommending training in figuring out how to convert?
Who is it in your business that sells?
There's 3 of us in sales. One of them, he's a French guy, so he's just an engineer. No offense, send French people here.
It's an Irish thing.
It's an Irish thing. He doesn't have the lingo, he can't sell, basically. He's extremely good.
So he's not the salesperson, so just how many people...
He's really good. If I can get him a phone to somebody, people know he knows what he's talking about,
Yeah.
but he can't go and sell it.
Right. So the question is, who are the salespeople in your business?
Me and another guy which is complete opposite, the French guy.
Let's talk about you, since they're not here. Scale of 0 to 10. 10 being world class. You know, who's the best salesperson you've ever met or know of?
Grant Cardone.
Great. 10 being Grant Cardone, 0 being absolutely atrocious. Where are you on that scale in terms of sales skills?
It depends on the situation.
No, that's not the question I asked. Where are you on a 0 to 10 scale?
Probably 5.
5. Okay, good. So you're at a 5 out of 10 at the moment. If you were at a 9 or a 10, what do you think your business would be doing in terms of annual revenue?
Oh, it should be 10 times.
Yeah. So clearly you've identified sales is the problem, and are you the sole owner of the business? Yeah. So listen, Peter, I'm going to give it to you straight. This is your problem to fix. And if you're a 5 out of 10, the likelihood of this business changing until you up your skill level in terms of sales is 0. I don't think you can train people or manage people to go somewhere you haven't been yourself. You need to work on. You're in the right place because you're going to spend 2 days learning from Grant Cardone. You're going to be in the right environment where there are. By the way, I mean, I don't know everybody in this room personally, but I'll tell you what, there's some world-class salespeople in this room. Like in particular, and I'm sure there are more than people I'm going to mention. Paul Preston, this guy is an absolute. I don't want to make him sound horrible. He's I nearly said animal, but it's not. He's just a world-class salesperson. Master of conversion. So speak to Paul. Like, you know, I mean, Paul, you probably won't mind me saying, like, if I asked you the same question 0 to 10, sales, skills, conversion, where would you put yourself?
Yeah, I always put myself at 9.
Yeah.
Because I've always got something to improve on.
Of course.
Because I'm a student. To be a master of the craft, you have to be a student of the craft. So I've always got margin to learn.
So the question then is, where would you put yourself 0 to 10 in terms of like marketing and lead generation?
A lot lower.
Yeah.
Because I convert what I get.
Yeah, exactly. He's got that licked. So like, if you're great at conversion, your sales, like your marketing, your lead gen doesn't need to be as strong. So, you know, I'd suggest pick Paul's brains for sure. Of course, Matt, head of sales in our company. You know, I mean, I've met some damn good salespeople. You know, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins. Like, this guy is probably one of the greatest salespeople I've ever met, which is why I fought tooth and nail to have him join my team. And basically threw the kitchen sink at him and made him join. Because I know that, like, you know, that is. You know, it's what it takes. You need world-class salespeople in your business, but it has to start with you. You've got to master it first, but you've got some phenomenal salespeople.
It's air conditioning, large-scale air conditioning.
You've got people in this room, Peter. You've got people in this room who've got the skill that you need. And by the way, you've got skills. And what's the one thing that you're greatest at?
I know what I'm selling. I know the product.
Okay. What's the one thing that you as a person are greatest at? Forget knowledge of product. That's not really something that you're, as a personal skill. What are you greatest at, Peter?
I think if I get the opportunity to sell the product, I can sell it.
Okay.
The problem is I don't think I get the opportunity.
What's the greatest piece of value you could give to the other business owners in the room over the next 2 days? I don't answer for you. What is the one thing that you are world class at that you could share with people in this room to help them?
It's my knowledge of my industry. See, I come from a technical background, I don't come from a sales and marketing background, and that's where I'm struggling.
So you're world class at your knowledge of your industry. My guess is that the way you became world class at having the knowledge of that industry is that you're world class at learning and gathering knowledge. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I think there are people in this room that are world class at selling, can really help you. But I also know that every single person in this room is world class at something. And so I'd invite you to just take a second now to think about what is it that you're world class at, and get focused on it, bring front and centre of your mind. Because if you're going to get the most out of these 2 days, then you've got to be here to give just as much as you get. And I know that everybody in this room is world class at something, because I believe that every single person on this planet is world class at something. So get clear on what that is, because that's what you're bringing to the party. If you're here, and I know you're not, if you're just here to get I've already had conversations with somebody this evening, and like, you're givers. You're people that are like trying to share and impart wisdom and knowledge. Not here to like get. But be very clear on what it is you've got to give and share that. And I think collectively, through the people in this room, through the 800 plus people we've got coming to Expert Empires over the next 2 days, I think you're gonna learn a lot, you're gonna laugh a lot, you're gonna make a lot of great connections, you're gonna make friends for life, meet partners, business partners, maybe even partners, I don't know. And I think you're gonna have an absolute phenomenal time. Well, I suppose in summary, guys, thanks for being here this evening. Cheers. Here is to playing a bigger game. Now get an early night. It's not long to that.